I'm so happy to have you here in person.
Thank you, Seth. It's good to see you.
You're doing a U.S. tour.
Yeah, I'm touring the US.
Got a new show called
US of A.
Your new show's called Heckler's Welcome.
Guess what the A stands for?
The U.S. of A?
Yes,
What does the A in U.S. of A stand for?
America. You should know, man. You live here. That's embarrassing. That's some embarrassing stuff. I did my research before I tour.
So the show's called Heckler's Welcome. A lot of comedians don't like hecklers, but it seems like you're just going to encourage them.
Oh, I really don't like them.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I hate hecklers.
okay.
But I wanted to get over that. And this is like exposure therapy. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, like if you're afraid of spiders, they put them all over you.
Yeah, like if Macaulay Culkin stuck his head in a beehive.
Was that what that was? That was exposure therapy?
That's what that whole film's about.
I had no idea. Changes it.
Yeah, he's scared of loads of stuff, that kid. Burglars. He's scared of burglars and
Oh, did he invite the burglars to come as a way of getting over his fear of burglars?
they cut that scene from the film. where
Oh.
His therapist tells him, why don't you just try exposing yourself to more burglars? That was what the whole thing was about.
Wow. I feel bad for whoever played the therapist. Obviously, that was a pretty juicy part, and then...
Yeah, that was pretty bad, but that was, you know who played the therapist?
Who was that?
David Pumpkins.
The SNL character?
Yeah, that was, he got his break further down the line when he got on SNL. But it was originally David S. Pumpkins.
You have a musical collective called Temps.
Guilty.
And you have a new song out.
Yeah.
And this is from the video of the song, and this is an alligator suit of sorts.
Yeah,
And this is your alligator suit.
Yes, I had that made for myself, and I'm in that alligator suit.
Gotcha.
And I got heat stroke.
Really? Do you blame it on the suit or the day you filmed the video, or a combination?
A combination, also my own stupidity.
Okay.
It wasn't a good idea. I wouldn't advise it to anyone. But I got myself an alligator mascot suit made, and thought I might as well got on a load of roller coasters. Actually, that was day 2. Day 1, I got heat stroke.
Well, these seem like awful things to be doing in an alligator suit on a hot day.
Yeah.
What was your vision? Why did you want to make an alligator suit?
Well, I had a toy like that as a kid, a massive party gator. T-shirt says party gator. I won it at a fair. Got it as a kid. Same time I got my drum kit. Then as an adult, made this album. Got the drum kit. Got the party gator back from my parents' house. It was meant to be a big theme. And then when COVID hit, I gave both of them, the drum kit and the party gator, to a school I used to work at for safekeeping. Then, for a video, I was like, I'm going to put that toy in the video. Phoned the school up. They were like, yeah, we threw that in the trash. Like, that was my childhood toy. They're like, yeah, thanks. And so then I had to get that made myself. So obviously that's what I had to do. I was like, I guess I become the party gator now.
Wait, there was something. You used to work at the amusement park, right?
I used to work there. I used to serve food and drink at that amusement park. That's how they let me in now. They give me the run of the place.
Oh, wow. So if you work at an amusement park in England, you just sort of forever, the rest of your life,
You phone them up and go, I'm dressed as a party gator today. Can I come in? They're like, you don't even need to ask.
They did an even nicer thing. They named a goat at the amusement park after you.
Yeah, that goat is called James Acaster.
Wow. Did
Yeah.
you ever think when your career started it would hit that height?
Well, I always hoped that one day I'd be the goat.
You did it.
I did it, man.
You did it. Pretty early. And then you say, now who knows what height you're going to hit. Already to go.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what dizzy heights I get to. Here we are, 30 Rock. Means a lot, man. This is where I first heard of David S. Pumpkins.
Right, at 30 Rock.
30 Rock, and now I'm here.
And then you first heard of him here, then you IMDb'd him, saw that he was cut from Home
I
Alone.
was like, oh, I bet there's an interesting story behind that.
You also, so you're a music producer, stand-up, you have a true crime podcast.
Yeah, I've got a true crime podcast coming out. What a lot of people don't know about me is that, yeah, you know me as a stand-up comedian.
I do.
But I'm actually an undercover cop who's undercover as a stand-up comedian.
Oh. From the beginning?
From the very beginning, I had to infiltrate a gang of drug dealers who were dealing drugs to comedians backstage at comedy gigs. So I became a stand-up comedian to infiltrate the gang. The case didn't go great, but my comedy career's gone from strength to strength.
Oh.
That's just what happened. And I've decided now that I've been kicked out the force, that I'll just do a true crime podcast where I share my wire recordings with the public.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's what it is. It's called Springleaf. We've got a Kickstarter for it now because I ain't paying for it.
Why should you?
Why should I pay for it? I'm an undercover cop. You see the wages we're on?
Is it better or worse wages when you go undercover? Do you get a per diem when you go undercover?
Yeah. You get a per diem. They go, right, you got a big undercover today. So you have this. And mistake I make is that I, in front of the drug dealers, I pull out my per diems in the envelope that says undercover cop per diems. No, what's that? I'm like, oh, just a joke.
Oh, well, that's a good cover.
Comedian, they love it.
You also have a self-help book.
Yeah.
Based on something you went through?
What people don't know about me, Seth,
Is most of it.
is... Yeah, I'm a party gator. I'm a musician. I'm a comedian. I'm an undercover cop. I'm also a self-help guru.
Okay.
I came off of social media. Everyone wanted to know how I did it. So I've released James Acaster's Guide to Quitting Social Media, Being the Best You Can Be and Curing Yourself of Loneliness, Volume 1.
Okay.
A lot of tips in there about how to quit social media. The main important thing is you have to take what social media used to give you and you have to replicate that in your day-to-day life.
Oh, interesting.
So now, you know, in normal life, I have to just stalk my girlfriends for real, my ex-girlfriends. I start arguments with strangers all the time.
Just on the street?
Really aggressive arguments. Saying stuff that I should not be saying, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do all of that. And, yeah, if you want to get updates on all your friends' kids, you've got to do what I did and open your own creche. What, do you even call it a creche in this country?
No.
I got the big sense just then that you don't. Listen, when I did my research about America, I learned what the A stood for and I stopped there. I didn't bother looking up if you had creches or not.
There was you felt the wind when you said creche.
Oh, I felt it. I felt it hard.
What do you think? I feel bad that I haven't even, based on what you said, I still don't know what a creche is. How would you describe it? I'll try to find the word for it.
Oh, yeah. It's like where people go and drop their kids off for the day to be looked after.
Like a daycare.
Yeah, if you want to say that.
Well, now you know you're going to do your show here in New York City. You're doing stand-up here.
Yeah, I'm doing stand-up here in New York City. I'm going to yell out, give me a cheer if you came from the creche. Oh, no, daycare.
And then think of me and how I bailed you out.
Yeah, I'll be like, that joke goes out at Seth Meyers. Actually, I'm going to dedicate every joke tonight to you, Seth. And I won't even tell the audience why, but I'll say it after every single gag. How come there's a door there and no one ever walks through it?
It's a great question.
It's very confusing that we have to come through the window every time.
Yeah. Do you want to use the door next time?
Well, I think someone should use the door.
Okay.
I think, look, I don't fully know all the American customs, but back in the UK, we enter through the door.
We believe it's good luck to have a door you never use. Yeah.
That's nice, actually. I will remember that for next time I'm visiting an American friend.
You sent me a lovely text. When I came back first show after the writer's strike, I thanked everybody who helped the writers get the deal they deserved. And then you, the next day, you texted me and said I also should have said, you're the best guest we have on the show. You said I missed an opportunity.
It was weird that you left that out. I watched it and I thought this is a lovely homage to all of the writers. But clearly someone didn't write this monologue for him. Because if they did, they would have said, by the way, James Acaster was the best guest we've ever had on the show. But, you know, it was weird. I just enjoyed texting you, Seth.
Oh, well, thank you. I've texted you in the past.
You have? We texted each other? And we couldn't text for 5 months because of the writer's strike.
Exactly. We could have called, but neither of us wanted that.
No, we didn't text, we didn't email. I sent my mother a blank birthday card. God knows how it got to her.
Oh, right, even the address. Sure. I texted you once. I texted you once because my kids have this story box, and you put a little like a fella on top, and it tells you a story. And they have James and the Giant Peach, and I'm listening to it. And all of a sudden, I go, I know that voice, and it was your voice. You read James and the Giant Peach to my kids, and I texted you to say how great it was.
Yeah, and it meant a lot that, because I know that you couldn't read it to them. Because of the reader's strike. Of course.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Yep.
There was a lot of people like you.
Yeah.
You refused to read to your kids ever.
Absolutely, yeah.
During that strike, and you
Yeah.
had to you had constant negotiations with your kids.
Yep. I was like, I'd love to, but this is a union household.
And eventually you came to an agreement, and they were like, they drew up the contracts, and you were like, I'm not signing something I can't read. It was a sad day.
It was a tough time.
Yeah.
Heckler's Welcome is this is a tour you've been on for a while, and you basically do a thing that I think no comedian actually ever does, which is you invite the audience to heckle you. Do you have a favorite heckle from recent shows?
Well, right. So I did it in Scandinavia first. I did
Okay.
a tour of Scandinavia, and in Gothenburg, which I'd never been to before, I got heckled with "You have freakishly long fingers," is what the person. So that's not freakishly long. I don't think that's. I get the angle right. Oh,
Yeah.
now that I see it on camera. Good God.
Yeah.
Some heckles are quite useful, actually.
Well, there's not much you can do about it.
Not much you can do about that at the time. I'm holding the mic, so I've got to continue to have them on full display. And I said, but it was an English voice heckling me. And I was like, hey, we're in Sweden. And he was like, yeah, I flew over to see the show. This is a fan,
Yeah.
someone who's supposed to like me.
Yep.
And they heckle that. And I remember afterwards thinking it's a bit odd. He's flown quite a long way just to heckle me. Then I did a gig in Scotland, in Glasgow. And midway through that, someone heckles me and goes, you were better in Gothenburg. And I'm thinking in my head, that's the last place I got a mean heckle. I mean, do you heckle me there as well? He went, yeah. I mean, you've heard about the fingers? Yeah. Oh, well, you get me twice. You're a bully. He was like, yeah. But he said, I don't even live here. Flown it. I was like, right, okay. Last week, I was in Vancouver. You were better in Glasgow. I went, that better not be who I think it is. He's like, yeah, I've flown here. Same guy. I hate that I'm mentioning it on TV, because he's going to love this. He's going to be delighted that it's worked. He's going to turn up and see me somewhere else. And I'm trying to come up with a comeback, because it's going to be you were better in Vancouver.
Yeah. You have time to plan
I've
it.
got so much time, but he's good.
Yeah. And is this
Good. He's better than I am.
you recently got heckled in your own home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This might be a bit. I'm worried this will be a bit too mean for American audiences.
Okay.
You know, they're more empathetic. In England, we think this is funny.
Okay.
I had a TV delivered, and the guy delivering the TV put it down in my living room, pointed at it, and went, "Ain't seen you on one of these in a while. You've been fired." You've been fired from TV, from all TV. That's why I'm here.
Oh, to prove to him.
Yeah, prove to him, and because I am fired from all UK TV.
Okay. The Beacon, I'm very excited you're going to be at the Beacon, one of my favorite venues in New York to see shows at, to do shows at. I've been doing shows with John Oliver there once a month.
Yeah. I'm aware.
Okay.
I thought it was a really big deal. I was really excited about doing the Beacon.
Yeah?
I get there. It's where you try out your new material. It's just a jolly for you. You and Oliver rock up and try out new gags. Who cares? I turned up and I was like, here we go. I'm in the big city. I was like, is this the Beacon Theatre? And they went, are you here to see Seth Meyers do new material? No, I'm here to perform my polished show that I've worked for ages on. But yeah, they speak very highly of you there. So.
I'm very happy to hear it. Now, John Oliver, obviously, he came over, made a big deal of himself here in the U.S. Is that a path you see for yourself one day?
It would be if Oliver wasn't so goddamn territorial.
Oh. Oh, so that's like very off limits.
You can't. You come over here, you open your door to your dressing room, he's in the corner peeing.
No. No.
He pees all over everything. If you're a UK comic in the US, you get on your flight, he's at your seat. Just soaking it up. Sprinkling it everywhere. He goes, enjoy the flight. Remember who the king is.
Oh, my God. That doesn't sound like the
And then
John
he
I
sits
know.
on the pilot's lap and makes airplane noises the whole way.
I work with this person. I can't believe he's that cruel.
Well, you're lucky that you're American.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're UK, my whole journey has just been urine, wall to wall. John Oliver's urine, and he's drinking nothing but Dr. Pepper.
You did make some real, you got a real foothold here in the U.S. You're in the new Ghostbusters movie. There you are. That's you. That's Dan Aykroyd.
That's Dan Aykroyd.
That's a really big deal.
Yeah, I am waiting for them to realise they've made a mistake.
Yeah.
But,
It seems like it'd be hard to edit you out. You're right in the middle of the shot.
Yeah, I mean, my plan really, obviously, is to take that guy who delivered my TV to the cinema. And then fired me from that. Got a promotion, bad luck.
Was it exciting?
It's very exciting. Every day was nuts. If you meet Dan Aykroyd and Slimer.
Slimer a good guy in person?
Lovely guy, Slimer.
Yeah.
I tell you what, when Slimer's left the room, it's a lot cleaner than when John Oliver's been in there.
Please welcome back to the show our friend James Acaster. James, welcome back.
Hello, Seth.
You mentioned last time you were very frustrated that our guests come out the window when we have a door right there, and then you just sort of took it upon yourself this time, I guess, to do door.
It felt better today. When I came through there, everyone in the room went, yeah, that makes sense. None of them thought that was weird.
Yeah.
They went, yeah, of course he's coming through there, not through the window.
Yeah. I bet they retroactively now are like, it was weird when the first guest didn't use the door.
That's what it was, I think. Whoever you had as your... Do you remember who the first ever guest on this show was?
The first ever guest on this
Yeah.
show? Yeah, it was my friend Amy Poehler.
Egomaniac. Miss Poehler, would you mind going through the door? This star does not go through the door.
Oh, you think it's Amy's fault?
Amy Poehler has got an ego the size of Texas.
Oh, boy. I don't know. I think you might not know that she's an icon here in this country.
Oh, yeah. You know why? Because she told you so. Amy Poehler needs to get over herself. And I've been sent here to tell you all that.
Oh, wow.
My government thought it was very important.
Oh, you're here on behalf of your government.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely, I'm here on behalf of the government. They've sent me here to sort out a lot of stuff. You guys have had a crazy month.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm here to sort all of it out. First of all, congratulations to Kendrick. Secondly, that's the pleasantries out the way.
Yeah, move on.
Secondly, you've got to realise you're a massive country. What you do affects the whole world. You're number one.
Oh, well, thank you.
We would like to propose to you that the entire planet should be allowed to vote in your election.
Okay, yeah, that's not a terrible idea. That's not a terrible idea.
It's only fair, Seth. It affects all of us, especially when one of the candidates is a climate change denier. I think children should also be allowed to vote.
Oh, yeah, kids.
It's their future.
That's true.
Them, wildlife should be allowed to vote. Trees. The only people, and this is the only exception, who shouldn't be allowed to vote, Republicans.
Well, now that doesn't seem fair anymore. But, James, I have... Oh. Hey, since you mentioned trees, did you see the one outside? Did you see... I would imagine you're the kind of guy that's probably loves the marvel of a giant Christmas tree.
Man, Americans can't go 2 seconds without mentioning Marvel. There's too many series, Seth. I can't keep up with it. I'm not watching the films and trying to ask my friend every 5 seconds, who's that one?
All right. I didn't mean to set you off on a Marvel
The
screed.
multiverse. He loves the multiverse, this guy. Backstage, he won't shut up about the multiverse. It's all he's doing to everyone is going, do you think RDJ's going to be himself from the normal verse or the multiverse? Seth, no one cares. It's a desperate move on their part. We think it's pitiful. And my government sent me here to tell you that.
Oh, boy. They're also here to tell us about the Marvel. There's too many Marvel movies.
Too many Marvel movies. You've got to let go of the multiverse. But I do love the tree outside.
Yeah. It's not lit up yet, but the scaffolding's down, which is nice.
That's not nice.
What?
My government wanted me to tell you that back in the UK, we keep the scaffolding up. All Christmas, we have the scaffolding up. That is the most Christmassy thing in England, is we have the scaffolding around the tree, and then when it's Christmas Eve, we get rid of the tree. And it's just the scaffolding.
Oh, they sort of pull it out from under the bottom of the scaffolding?
Yeah, all you know is burn it. You light a match and you just fling it in from a distance. And then we all sing in ancient English a song about how the tree is dead and long live the scaffolding. And that's how we do it. I'm not used to how you're doing Christmas in this country. I don't like it.
Which part is hard?
All the lights have gone up, all your Christmas lights?
Yeah.
Not how we do it back home.
No.
Darkness. The whole December 1st, all lights go off across the UK. It's total blackout. And the UK, a lot of you will know this, but it's very much like the little town in True Detective, Night Country.
Yeah.
There's no sun. So it's just pitch black for all of December.
Wow.
And then the lights aren't allowed to come on again for Christmas. So Christmas Day, you put the lights on, and then just whatever house you've ended up in, that's where you're spending Christmas.
Oh, right, because you have no idea where you are because of the total
You don't know,
darkness.
you've all been stumbling around in the dark for a month. Lights go on. Well, I guess I'm spending Christmas with Gordon Ramsay and Dick Van Dyke doing the voice.
Dick Van Dyke doing the voice.
Jim Jiminy.
Oh, my God. You've been in New York, this is a longer stretch than I feel like the last time you've been sort of in and out, but you've been in the States for a month? You've been in New York City for a couple of weeks?
I have. I've been here for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I've grown accustomed to it. And sorry, I'm drunk as hell.
Oh, yeah. Do you feel...
I'm so drunk. I got my wires crossed with this show when you emailed me. I thought I was doing the day drinking thing.
Oh, no.
I met up with a guy who it turns out only looks like you. And me and him have been getting trashed all day long.
Yeah.
I only knew I was meant to be here when you texted me going, buddy, are you on your way? And I was like, how have you texted me and been drinking a bowl of punch at the same time?
Were you never curious as to why there were no cameras around?
Oh, I did. About 5 drinks in, I said, we should be filming this. He went, you're right. And then he started filming me. He's got some very incriminating evidence on that phone of me trying to burn that tree.
Oh, my God. Oh, you tried to burn the tree here.
Yeah,
so,
I'll put it out.
5 drinks in.
With my peers.
Do you feel like New Yorkers, do you like being around them?
That seems like a lead-in question, Seth.
Well, I'm just curious, you know?
Of course.
You seem to, call it like you see it.
Look, I had a bad experience. I was meant to go to, I was going to Florida, to Disney World.
Oh, you seem like a guy who'd love Disney World.
Yeah. Well,
I know that you're going to think this is, they do own Marvel.
Yeah. Well, that's why
So you in a way, you brought it up.
Well, that's why I was sent there. To the heart of it.
I
had to sit at a table with Mickey. He's I'll tell you what, when the cameras aren't around, he's a different guy.
Mickey.
He didn't get to where he is now by being nice. Let me tell you that. That guy does not care.
Okay.
He's a confident guy.
Mickey,
he's confident. I have a theory that anyone with a 2-syllable name, they're the most confident people on the planet.
Interesting.
Because their name fits very easily into happy birthday. The rest of us, I've had a lifetime of people going, James. I don't feel like I belong here. Every birthday, I'm like, should I even have been born? 2-syllable name, Mickey, Donald.
Goofy.
Yeah, Donald who is, Goofy, the whole lot of them. Donald also coincidentally the name of your president. Yeah. But they're all very confident people, and it's because they have 2-syllable names, I swear to God. Anyone with a 3 or 4-syllable name, they don't make it to 50.
Yeah.
Unlike SNL.
Wait, what were you? How was your trip to Disney?
Happy 50th to SNL.
Yeah, I'm glad you're getting it out there. Nobody's talking about it.
It's all we're talking about in England. We're going around going, oh man, do you think you could ever make Lorne laugh? Oh, it's so tough to make that guy laugh. It's all we want to do in England is make Lorne Michaels laugh.
Oh, it's great.
So that's the badge of a true comedian.
Do you celebrate Thanksgiving, James?
Yeah, we celebrate. Yeah, the 50th. If we're celebrating SNL's 50th, you better believe we celebrate a massacre we weren't involved in. Yeah, we're fully on your side with that. We all celebrate it back home, and it's even weirder than you celebrating it. We're the OGs with that. We like really aced colonialism, so like, yeah.
How do you feel about, speaking of that, like, how do you feel about 4th of July? I mean, is that a little weird for you?
I think it lazily named, I'll say that much. You really put the effort in elsewhere. At least Thanksgiving covers up what actually happened. 4th of July. Are you joking?
Yeah.
I don't even. I mean, we all celebrate that all year round. That's very clever of you.
Yeah.
All of us have 4th of July. May the 4th July you.
I do want to say before you go, I loved your special, Heckler's Welcome.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah. I feel like this has been a wonderful advertisement.
Yeah, we've advertised it pretty well.
But it's a great special. You brought people, you invite them to heckle during the show.
I let them heckle me for a whole tour.
And do you feel like you get, when you invite people to heckle, based on the fact that you tour the whole world in different countries, you get a different kind of audience member?
Yeah, everywhere. And like when I came here, and by the way, the office is still open. If anyone wants to heckle me, they can. Everyone's allowed to. It's absolutely fine.
Okay.
I'm still completely open to heckles. It's made me calmer, and I deal with people in a much more loving way now. I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah. That lovingness, everything is coming through.
Thank you, sir.
It's on Max, and it's a fantastic special, and it is just the best to see. You got to come back soon.
I just have one question, though. What is Max? Because back home, that's a guy who feels pretty down on his birthday. You showed that clip last time.
Same clip?
It's the same clip.
Well, we just
No one ran it by me. I didn't even know there was going to be a clip.
Yeah.
I got told just before I came through the door, I'm just going to show a clip. I was like, oh, cool. This will be cool to see what this is.
Yeah.
That's the same clip, Seth.
Yeah.
People don't know me very well in this country. I mean, I look like I've got one routine, and it's getting heckled by someone and not saying much in response.
Yeah. It's really a better clip for the heckler than it is for you.
Yeah, that heckler's doing great. You're going to have them on the show next week. Show that clip again before they come on.
It's always, one of the things I'm happiest about seeing you, other than getting to watch that clip again, is you're our only guest that walks through the door instead of and the side. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How am I still the only guest? I did it in November.
Yeah.
I assumed that once you've done that, everyone goes, it's stupid if I walk through the Friends window.
Yeah.
But they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Like
It's the level of courage you have to just basically say to the stage manager backstage, no.
Yeah. Your stage manager tried to push me through the window. They're going, get in there! I was like, only way I'm looking through that window is if I'm spied on ugly naked guy.
Oh, yeah. Nice tie-in for Friends. This is a lot of cross-promotion.
I want to promote Friends as much as possible tonight. I think, especially in this city, it's been forgotten.
I got to see you outside of this theater, which was lovely. We did a panel, an Emmy panel, with other people who had stand-up specials on Max, Brett Goldstein and Rose Matafeo, who are both lovely. And It was fun. It was fun to be on a panel with you. Although,
Yeah.
if one of we are competing against each other, I guess technically in the stand-up category.
We are, yeah, we are. But, you know, it's an honour, Seth, to be competing with you. You're one of the greats. And after... Oh.
Yeah. Nah. Well, I definitely thought I'd get a little bit more than that.
That's got a sting, buddy.
It did. It did.
This is your show. They should have been on that.
Yep. No, everything you noticed, I also noticed.
Yeah. That was one person trying to get the rest of them going. No, you know, I think your special's fantastic. And after, you know, we were talking about our specials afterwards because, you know, Emmys is a very new thing to me. And I was like, I don't know what to do here, Seth. And you were like, listen, buddy, I didn't even write any of my own material. You said, I stole it from Newer Comics. And you went, do you want to know the crazy thing? When I performed it at the taping, no one laughed at me. And I had to go back to the clubs of New York, secretly record on my phone the original comedians doing those jokes, steal the laughter they got, and put it onto my special.
Yeah.
And you went, and these idiots don't even know. And that was inspiring. That made me a lot less worried about it, and I appreciate you taking me under your wing like that.
I did tell you, that was all in confidence. That's the only part that bothers me about this here.
Yes, yeah, well, you were very confident.
You are, I will say there's a real confidence to your special, Heckler's Welcome, because you invite the audience to heckle you, and last time you were here, you were about to do it at the Beacon, and at the end of your interview, you told my audience that they could heckle you, but it was over. Does the invitation still stand on this visit?
Absolutely. I'm a new man now since my tour, so anytime anyone wants to heckle me, it's always fine.
Okay.
And, oh, by the way, did they tell you, don't ask me about Trump today?
Okay.
No questions about Trump.
Great. Wasn't the plan or anything.
I'm applying, my visa runs out.
Okay. Gotcha. So please, yeah, why risk it?
Got to apply for a new one, and I'm told it's getting a bit dictatory here.
That is the word we're using.
So I don't want to, don't ask me anything
Just
about
leave
him.
that alone.
Yeah, because, full disclosure, I think he's a piece of
Yeah, you don't want to get into that. I will keep that secret the way you kept mine.
I can't risk anything.
You talk about the relationship with hecklers has changed over the years. That back in the old days, when you got heckled at a show, you would lay into the heckler because you had been in service jobs where you felt like people had given you a hard time.
Yeah, it felt cathartic because I used to work. I was a waiter. Not a lot of people know this about me actually. I was a waiter at Jack Rabbit Slims.
No, it sounds familiar, but no. Well, it sounds like a name that I've been to, but I definitely haven't. Is this a satisfying answer that I'm giving you right now?
Sorry, a guest like this with you on the show. When you ask them questions, do they come back with, is this a satisfying answer for you? You're not used to it this way round.
I didn't like it. I didn't like that you were all of a sudden, have you heard of? I'm like,
Yeah.
Whoa.
I should have been they did tell me before I came on, they went, do not ask him any questions. He only likes to be the giver, never the receiver.
Yeah.
Oh, you're better than that. Jack Rabbit Slims, you might know it as it was
Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Where they go and like it's like 50s themed.
Yes.
And like Buddy Holly's the waiter and stuff. That's where I worked.
Did you have to be a Buddy Holly waiter?
No, well, this was the problem. This is why a lot of people gave me I just took it upon myself to be Kurt Cobain.
Oh, yeah.
So I like his music a lot.
Sure.
And I'd go to their table, I'd go, welcome to Jack Rabbit Slims, can I take your order? And they'd be like, yeah, we'll have the... Are you Kurt Cobain? And they were, we come here to be immersed in the 1950s. He's a grunge era, 90s grunge era musician. This is completely taking me out of it.
Yeah.
I hate this. I hate that you've done this. Why are you Kurt Cobain? And I'd have to keep it in. I wasn't able to say anything to him.
Yeah.
And then they'd go and get us some $5 shakes and get out of my sight. And I had to go to my boss, Tony. And Tony was always on my back for being Kurt Cobain. I go, we want some $5 shakes for the Cadillac table. And Tony go, are you jacking me? Are you Kurt Cobain again? This is Jack Rabbit Slims. It's 1950s. They come here to be immersed in 1950s. He is 90s grunge era musician. If I see you as Kurt Cobain again, there's going to be trouble. And don't you dare tell me that you like his music, because I'm sick of that excuse. Yeah. And eventually, I mean, this went on for a very long time. They sent this guy, one of the suits from head office came.
Uh-huh.
And I had to go in the office. And I went in. I should have got changed before I went in.
Yeah.
He sat down, and he, as I sat down in front of him, he went, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it. You're Kurt Cobain. This is Jack Rabbit Slims. You're dressed as Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
You know he's 90s era grunge.
Yeah.
Everyone's complaining. All the customers keep complaining about you because you're coming here as Kurt Cobain. That's not good enough. He went, if you're Kurt Cobain tomorrow, you're not welcome at Jack Rabbit Slims again. You're not welcome. And I didn't go as Kurt Cobain the next day, but they still fired me.
Oh, really? What? Why?
I went as Dave Grohl.
Hey, there's something. You were so excited the last time you were here because the SNL 50th was about to happen, and you wanted to let everybody know, and you were so excited. And now there's an SNL UK is starting.
Yes.
And I mean, are you gonna maybe try to audition? What do you think, James?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I'm so excited about it. I mean, everyone in this country's excited about it, I assume, from that response.
I think we maybe. I don't think many people know.
Someone told me John Oliver.
Yeah, John Oliver was here, and John said he thought it was a terrible idea.
Listen, do you know why he said that? He doesn't want you to find out about this. Years ago, I think it was in the 90s in the UK, when John Oliver was still in the UK, he tried to do his own Saturday Night Live kind of thing, and it was a failure. And that's the only reason he's saying this.
Really?
Yeah. It was called Last Saturday Night This Evening Live.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad name. That's a bad name.
Looking back, it was the cast was crazy.
Oh, well, it was a good cast?
Just John.
Well, it was pretty good, yeah.
Just John playing all the characters in all the sketches. Uh-huh. And he did there was the Les Cowbell sketch.
Oh, Les Cowbell. That's a very British take.
Yeah. It was Joy Division in the studio. But John Oliver was like all of the musicians. He was having to run around. He was very sweaty all the time because he was having to run around. And he was still eating fish and chips because the show would clash with his dinner. So he'd always be eating fish and chips while running around playing all the musicians. And then the producer would come out and be like, we need less cowbell. And then the band all just agreed.
Oh.
And they dropped the cowbell from the song, and that was the sketch.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, that's not good.
I think there was 2 episodes ever. There was one went out live on the Saturday night, and one went out on the Wednesday because he got too nervous on the Saturday. So they had to do
So they pushed it.
Yeah, they had to, look, seconds before going live. He just turned, apparently, this is the story, he turned to the producer and went, can't do it, too scared. Like, can't do it, too scared. So they had to show, I think they aired an old episode of Cohorts. It's the English Friends. And good.
You've been, I know
The unattractive nude gentleman is my favourite character.
Oh, yes, of course.
In Cohorts.
Is it when you're in the city, when you're in the States, do you miss the UK?
Yeah, oh man, I'm pining for it. I miss my local dry cleaner, I miss the most.
Why is that?
It's called Dr. Dry Cleaner. Uh-huh. Doctor spelled DR, so the sign looks like it says, Dry Cleaner! And it just gives me a lift every time I walk past it. I like seeing it and just thinking in my head, Dry Cleaner! You know? Well, so I miss that. But it's been nice being here. I was,
How was the trip? How was the trip to the States this time?
pretty sweet. I liked No King's Day.
Yeah, that was a good day. Turned out. People turned out.
People turned out. Pretty sweet. I mean, the only thing I think you should change the name if you're going to do it again. Like, you know, just be a bit more specific, you know, No Dictators Day or something like that, because, like, I come from a country where we have a king. He ain't doing nothing. He's not, he can't have any influence over it. That's not what a king is.
Yeah.
We talk trash about him all the time. He can't do anything. We're like, your mum's dead.
That's not talking trash.
Huh?
I feel like there's so much you could, like, talk trash to him about without, like, that detail.
Sure. Your brother's a paedophile.
Oh, yeah. I guess you prefer my, your mom's dad.
Sorry. Pedophile. I know the pronunciation's different here.
And they were thrown. That's what they were all going, oh, because they hated the pronunciation.
Pedophile. Allegedly.
Yeah, oh, there we go.
Sorry, illegally. Pronunciation's throwing me, guys.
It
Getting
is.
used to your American pronunciation.
It's just always the best to have you here. Thank you so much. Will we come back again soon?
Yeah, I would love to come back again soon, Seth, and I hope that when I do, your audience are bigger fans of you.
Thank you for repping with the merch.
It's pure coincidence. I also forgot I was doing this today. I was just walking through the streets of New York City, and someone just ran out and went, you're due on in 5.
Yeah.
I was like, due on what? What are you talking about? And when you're doing Seth Meyers today, and I was like, well, this is going to be awkward. I'm dressed in my Seth Meyers garb. He's going to think this is like some sort of kiss-ass thing. And they were like, honestly, his ego's so big, he'll love it. So they just got...
So you'll walk about on a city street with a mug from home.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to need a mug, Seth. In this life, you're walking around, and what if someone starts to propose a toast? And I'm like, I can't get in on this.
Yeah.
And show my support for what
Yeah.
they're toasting.
Street
you know?
toasts. New York is known for their street toasts.
Got to get it up there.
Yeah.
You know what I like to do as a prank? Sometimes in a bar, a friend will like be going in the bathroom, they say, can you hold my drink? And while they're gone, I'll propose a toast with their drink. And then when they get back, they don't know what they just drank to.
Oh, right, because they say, let's drink to, and then they have a drink and they never know.
They don't know, they're in the bathroom, and I say, let's drink to fascists. And then I put the drink there, and then they come back, and they're like, ah.
That's a good...
I'll say to them, hey, remember what earlier on? This guy's a massive fascist right here.
I love having you in New York, but I was in your home state. I was in
Wax
London.
Tracks, Denver, Colorado, 8th of February.
What?
1:30. 1:30, Wax Tracks record store. I'm doing a Q&A.
Wait, sorry?
I'm doing a Q&A at Wax Tracks in Denver, Colorado, and because I don't have social media, they're very worried that people aren't going to show.
Okay.
1:30, 8th of February. It's a Q&A. I promise today I'm only going to answer, like half answer all the Seth's questions. If you want to know the full answers, you've got to come to Wax Tracks. Put your hand up and ask the same question that Seth did, and I promise I'll give you the complete answer. 1:30, Colorado, Denver, Wax Tracks, record store. It's a record store.
1:30 in the afternoon on February 8th.
That is all I do when I come to America. I do late night with you, and I do Wax Tracks at 1:30 in the afternoon in Denver, Colorado.
But see, it feels like, you know, it's a vicious circle, really, because if you had social media, you wouldn't have to use your time on my show to promote the only other thing you're doing.
It's annoying, and that's why I forgot about I was even on here. Because I'm walking around just thinking about Wax Tracks. And then someone comes up and goes, remember, you got to go on Seth Meyers to promote Wax Tracks.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, man, I forgot
Well, just
about...
plan ahead so you're not wearing your Wax Track stuff at 1:30.
Well, that will, because I do have a Wax Tracks onesie. And if I get caught with that, that'll be very, very embarrassing at Wax Tracks.
I was, you know what?
1:30 on the 8th of February.
I thought, you know, we were at a place where maybe we'd get to hang out in London. I was in London. I have your phone number, and I reached out, and I said, hey, you want to get a drink? And
You didn't. What's this in front of everybody? You kept on texting me going, limeys go home, too many limeys. You kept saying there's too many limeys here. You went, limeys are absolutely getting on my nerves. Limeys go home. And I had to text back and say, Seth, this is where we live. This is our country. And you text back, I'm American. Seth, and then I tried to meet up with you, and you were like, yeah, you want to meet up with me? I'm where all Americans are in London, in the queue for Dishoom. And then I had to go to Dishoom to find you, and you would text me going, I'm in the queue for Dishoom. I really want some Black Dahl. I'm jonesing for the Black Dahl. And then you would send me a selfie from the queue, and it was just Americans. It was like you, Zach Morris, Chuck E. Cheese and the Zodiac Killer, all queuing for Dishoom. Kaylee Cuoco was there.
Yeah.
Young Sheldon and old Sheldon.
Both Sheltons.
Very rarely do you see young Sheldon and old Sheldon together.
Yeah.
And by old Sheldon, I don't mean Jim Parsons. I mean the old Sheldon from the forthcoming series, Old Sheldon, which is a really, really old version of Sheldon.
Yeah.
And he's in a nursing home. He's got Alzheimer's. And he can't remember his life.
Yeah.
And they have to show him episodes of young Sheldon so that he knows what he even did. And the laugh track throws him. He's like, why are people laughing at me? Do I live in a country where intelligence is seen as humorous and something to be mocked? And they're like, yeah, you live in a country where it's funny if people are clever or a nerd, and we only respect ignorant bullies. Yeah, well, hey, if you want to hear the end of that, come to Wax Tracks, Denver, Colorado. 1:30.
Do you want to...
February the 8th.
If Wax Tracks wants to play the first half of your answer at the Q&A, and then you can just tag on the end.
Happily. I will happily do that, Wax Tracks, if you're watching. I hope they are watching. I should have promoted this at Wax Tracks so that the Wax Tracks people would watch this. Because actually, this is severely under-promoted, my appearance on
Oh, I think people knew you were coming here. By the way, I did a talk show in London. I was on Graham Norton's show.
You were.
Yeah. It was a big deal for me.
You did all the big talk shows in the UK. You did like the Yorkshire Pudding. You did Late Night Pudding Boys, Late Night with the Pudding Boys. Pudding Chat. You did all of them.
Yeah. I realized I didn't have enough to say about Puddin' based on how many of them I did.
You had a few things to say, buddy. You should go online and see what he said on those shows. Very controversial.
I don't think it was that controversial.
He had a leather jacket on, and he put the collars up on the leather jacket, and you kept on saying this one's for the Swifties, and then passing wind, and you said the Earth was fat.
Flat.
No, you said fat. You're a fat earther. You actually believe it's more spherical than it is. You're like, it's so big. You know, there's actually more countries than we know about, and they're all named stuff that sounds kind of like countries we know, and there's only one world leader who dares pronounce them right in public. Donald Trump. And,
Are you worried about being a foreigner in this country, in the current political climate?
No way, man. All I've been doing since I've been here, I'm trying to rig your elections in the other way.
Oh, you are doing what he's most worried about. You're rigging elections.
Yeah, big time. I'm here, I'm rigging elections everywhere. I'm putting up fake, like, voting booths that say, like, Trump votes only on them. And when people go in, the door shut, it's an escape room.
Oh.
And in order to get out, they've got to solve this massive word puzzle where they've got to put, like, thousands of words in the right order and then read it out loud, and then they realise that it's the, like, unredacted Epstein files.
Oh. That's good.
It's a really good trick.
You have a podcast called Off Menu. It's about food.
Yeah.
And you had the Robert De Niro on your podcast.
We had Bob De Niro on. My friend now.
Are you friendly? Did you get a meal with him afterwards?
All we do is eat meals.
Yeah.
We constantly go. We always enter through the kitchen in a oneer.
Oh, so even when you go to a regular restaurant, it's a oneer back.
Yeah, we went to Jack in the Box. You know Jack in the Box?
Yeah.
Just a one, very short. Was quite an abrupt one. It's a small kitchen, and then you sit down and you chat to Bob. You know that he only speaks in De Niro quotes?
That's not true.
That is true.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, a lot of people don't know. He doesn't watch any of his films, so he gets the quotes wrong a lot.
Oh, that's awful.
He says, I'm the taxi driver, baby!
Yeah, that's not. I've seen
Yeah.
that movie a bunch of times. That's definitely
Oh, but
not.
that's not one of your films. But
Yeah.
that's like, you know, he said to me the other day, he said, you know what my favourite film of mine is? Is Meet the I was like, Bob, with all due respect, it's called Meet the Fockers.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and said, I think I would know if I was in a film that doesn't even make any sense. This is funny. Fockers is not a word. I was like, Bob, that's why it's funny. It's like it nearly is, but it's not. That's why everyone found that so funny when he was called Fokker. He said, funny how? Funny. I said, that's not you, that's Pesci.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm out of here. And then he went to leave and he opened the door and it blowtorched his head.
So we got Pesci again.
He got double Pesci. And then when his hair was on fire, he went, smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody stop me. And I was like, Bob, you weren't in the mask. He's like, I was in the mask. I said, I want an Oscar for The Mask. He's adamant about this, says it all the time. Says, I want an Oscar for The Mask and a Critics' Choice. Said, I would have won the Golden Globe, but Denzel won it for playing Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball.
Man, don't meet your heroes, right?
Well, don't meet your hero, sure, but like Bob De Niro is still my hero, and so is The Mask.
Hey, I did a live Taskmaster in New York City. You did a whole series.
I did.
And they actually, as it turned out, this was amazing. Me and John Oliver, it was 3 people who were just fans in the crowd.
Yeah.
They asked you to do it
Yeah.
here in the States.
I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to try. But like, you did great, by the way.
You
Well
didn't
done.
see it.
No, I heard all about it. I did go and see it. I was in the audience. I watched it, and like they were. I did. I saw it. It was really hardcore. The tasks that they do on the live one are way hardcore. Like, make a dog. Fastest wins. It was amazing, Seth. And your approach to that was really novel, and I like it. I like it on that show where people like, pardon the pun, when they like think outside the box and they have different approaches to the tasks. And like, who was there? Who saw it? Who's that? Some people. Who didn't see it? That's what I like. Can I tell them how you did it? Because it was amazing. He jacked off the dog. It was so good, Seth.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you deserve to win.
Yeah.
And the only reason he didn't win was because the person, someone from the audience won, and who was, in their defence, in your defence, a dog. They were a dog. And dogs know just how they like it. So that's not on you. You did well on that one.
Thank you, buddy. And it's just so nice to have you here.
Who would think that would be the answer that saved the interview? The rest of it, I felt like I was on a tightrope, and then as soon as I said you made a dog, we were on easy street. That shouldn't have been what turned it around.
But here we are. We're living in crazy times.
We're living in these crazy times, Seth, and if there's one thing I know, it's that the place to be is Wax Tracks, Denver, Colorado, February the 8th.
James Acaster, everybody, tickets to his